Black History Month is an integral part of our nation's tradition, in which we continue to recognize and promote positive, impactful individuals. The Sports Shop with Reese and K-Mac, Salute to Champions, would like to recognize this individual for their contribution.
He was the 2019 president of the NC North Carolina Realtors Association. I'm not sure if that's his first black or not, but it's still an unbelievable feat, if you will. Graduated from NC State University. We got a lot of state people here this week, by the way.
Outstanding.
We had
Let's go, Pat.
Torrey State, NC State, Torrey and Terrence. We had Chucky Brown. This gentleman came down here from New York City. And he also he obtained his master's of real estate degree from Realtors and University in August of 2019. I'm so happy. A friend of mine, I'm proud to say, rocking and rolling, doing his best work in his own space. Our next honoree, a recipient, if you will, for Salute to Champions 2020, Asa Fleming. What's up, Asa? How you doing, brother?
We're good.
All right.
You good, man?
I'm doing good.
Oh, man. See, I know, I think when I told you about this, you was somewhat surprised. You're like, well, really? And just talk about when we had a conversation when I kind of told you that you was a recipient for this.
Well, you know, I'm grateful and honored to even be considered. You know, you don't do anything really to be recognized. You do it because you're principled and your moral obligation to just give back. And you know, I was taught as a kid, you know, you only can keep what you give away. You got to breathe out in order to breathe in. And so I just strive to do that. And when someone calls up and says, "Hey, we're going to honor you," I'm always sort of surprised.
Why did you get into real estate? What propelled you to get in that space?
Well, you know, I was working in corporate America in New York City, and you know, I went through a merger and saw myself in a room with 78 managers and 50 jobs. And so I wanted to really get into something where I could kind of kill my own food, make my own money.
Sound familiar?
And so I also wanted to do something where, you know, I could help society. You know, I could help build up people. And when I looked at the various industries I could get in, I picked real estate because I feel I could help people build wealth through real estate.
Wow.
We're talking with Asa Fleming, one of the 2020 Salute to Champions recipients for this year. You're the president of the North Carolina Realtors Association. You just talked about building wealth through real estate, helping people. A lot of people view real estate as something that's unattainable for a vast majority of the population. Talk about the realtor's role in making that dream a reality for a lot of people.
Well, what we do is we show them how to, you know, just by living, raising a family, if they, you know, they can use home ownership as a path to wealth. You know, if you start off with, you know, young and you get married, you know, we say, hey, get something like a starter home, something that you can afford, you know, save your money, try to put money down, you know, always against just going into something 100%, but, you know, save some money, put it down. And then once you have a family, you have your kids, you know, you're about 10 years into it, you know, you want to move, you know, and do that 2 or 3 times throughout your lifetime. By the time you get to be 50, 60 years old, you've got maybe about $300,000 to $500,000, which you can get tax free.
Wow.
You know, as an addition to your pension and your investments and all that, just by living and going through life, raising a family.
Because through that process, you actually did live in those homes and provided shelter during that process. But then at the end of I guess decades later, you get a chance to actually take advantage of just
because you're building equity through the whole time. You know, people forget about what you just said, quiet enjoyment, and no one lives for free.
Quiet enjoyment,
right?
Okay,
quiet enjoyment.
I never heard that.
You're actually living through this, and to have that equity at the end. You know, when you're ready to downsize because you're an empty nester, it's just something we try to make people understand. Don't just live in the home to live there. Think about how you can actually build wealth.
Wow. Huh? We're talking to Asa Fleming.
I like that.
We're talking to Asa Fleming, 2020, one of the 2020 recipients for the Salute to Champions. We recognize each and every February. We're very, very proud to recognize Asa and all the work he's doing because he is on every board that is associated with the real estate. Let me tell you, that's 2 or 3 paragraphs of just the stuff that he's on. But most recently, he was appointed to the Wake County Planning Board where he's currently serving. So you're involved in what's going on in Wake County from a planning perspective in terms of real estate and things of that nature?
Absolutely. Yeah. You know, was honored to be, appointed to that board by the Wake County Commissioners. And right now we're working on a comprehensive planning for the county, and it's just interesting to see all the different aspects of the county and how they approach planning. I have been on the Raleigh City Appearance Commission
Yes.
For 6 years, so I got to kind of see a subset of the city planning. But being on the county planning has been awesome, and just being there and learning and being able to see how they approach transit, education, parks. It's just really been an educational thing for me.
Wow. Well, let's transition to something that I'm very interested in is education, particularly you guys. You were one of the founding board members of the Central Wake High School Charter School. Talk about that.
Yeah, so back in, I want to say 2014, we flew down to Florida to kind of see what it's called Accelerated Learning Solutions as a property management, not a property management, school, educational management company, charter school. Mm-hmm. And, it was really amazing what they were doing. They had these strip malls with kids in there learning all online. Literally, to me, it seems like it's the wave of the future. Mm-hmm. Yeah. And, you had maybe one person in there while they were all learning online. And it was sort of like a dropout prevention school, like an alternative school. So these are kids that, didn't fit traditional schedules. They, either, got arrested for drugs, got pregnant, had to, drop out of school, take care of their, parents or whatever, or their kids if their parents passed. And so what we do is we run 3 4-hour tracks, throughout the day. And every 4-hour track equals a semester. So say you drop out of school in the 9th grade, right? And you got pregnant, whatever, you had to get a job. You don't fit a traditional schedule. Sure. You can pretty much come back your senior year, take 2 1 semester, 2 4-hour tracks 1 semester, and 2 the next, and graduate with your original cohort with an actual credit diploma. Okay. So, you can go to a 2-year school or a 4-year university. Yeah,
for sure.
Yeah, it is.
And so it's really gaining steam right now. We started off in 2017. We graduated about 20 children. Students from there, and now it's mushroomed to the next year we did 63, I believe, and the next year we did almost 70. So it's growing, and we are really impacting children and saving these children's lives.
Well, we're talking to Asa Fleming, one of 2020 Salute to Champions recipients. You're on, like we said, you're on a number of boards, a number of initiatives. You're president of the North Carolina Realtors Association, coming from corporate America. Having to making that decision, you wanted to be in real estate. Now, being involved in education, having a passion for that. What's one of the things that, as you've gone through this arc, that's probably resonated with you the most out of all of your interactions?
Well, the thing that's really resonated with me is that there is such a great need, and there's not a lot of people that are willing to give up time to address it. You have a lot of people, but. And then the other thing is just the life balance. So I remember at one point I was on like 17 different things because I was one of the people that said yes.
You always said yes.
I mean? I always said yes. And so I had to kind of learn that. But, I guess the biggest thing is that just to encourage people to say, hey, you got to give back. You only can keep what you give away. It's services, I heard it somewhere, services, the rent you pay exist in this lifetime, right?
Yeah.
And so the need is so great. And there's so many places that people can get involved. People don't have to do exactly what I'm doing.
Right.
They can get involved in so many different ways. Mm-hmm. And for me, I respect anyone that gets involved and helps people.
When you saying you was talking, I was reminded of something. I'm gonna take you back. I'm not sure you can pull this off. But I remember I heard a presentation. We was with the 100s again. I think you gave a presentation to some mentees about rap music and people. Do you remember the presentation you gave? Can you talk about that a little bit?
So
listen to this.
So I was in the mid '90s. I read a pamphlet, and I forget who the doctor was out in Los Angeles that did this research, and it really impressed me. And it'll come to me when I'm out of this. Right. But he talked about the 12 recurring negative themes of hip hop music videos. And so what they had done is they had sat down and watched thousands of videos and then just kind of pulled out these recurring themes. And just to name some of them was like crass materialism, misogynistic, ghetto backdrops, just wanting to get paid, narcissistic behavior. You had it. So when you can sit there, and I think you were there when I did that.
I was there. You showed it.
And you show all those 12 things, and I didn't go through all 12 of them, but... And then you look at the videos, it's like you become aware of it. You cannot see it. You're like, man, every single video has something like this. And so I remember one kid stood up and said, "What are we supposed to do now?" I like this music. I said, well, I'm not saying to not listen to what you want to listen to. I'm just saying be aware of what's being preached into your subconscious mind. Because I always say, the mind is a terrible thing to waste. I say a subconscious mind is a terrible thing not to guard.
Wow.
Outstanding. I could not agree more.
Be careful what you feed your mind.
Yeah, exactly.
I remember that. That was 15 years ago, maybe?
Years ago.
Yeah, but I remember you doing that, though.
That constant drip can destroy anything, including rocks, including granite. You name it, that constant drip can destroy anything. We're talking about Asa Fleming, one of our 2020 Salute to Champions recipients. Excuse me. As you just heard, he is a wealth of knowledge.
Thank you for saying.
And he has the right passion and the right vision. Like you just mentioned, you said service is in need, right? Mm-hmm. A lot of times we talk to people and people feel, we don't like people to feel like we're preaching to them, and they say to themselves, they're driving in the car, they say, well, okay, well, what can I do? Mm-hmm. Right? What I mean, I just go over here, I just work every day. I volunteer at church, but how am I supposed to get involved? What do you say to individuals that don't see those opportunities of a service in their everyday life?
Well, there's always something that you can do, and I always say follow your passion, because if you're not passionate about it, you're not going to be someone that's consistently staying in there, grinding and doing it. Mm. But, to be focused on helping someone, and seeking it out, I always believe in that what you're seeking is seeking you. And so if you have a passion, that say you want to help, minority children or learn to read, or if you just want to help elderly people, that opportunity is going to find you, and it's going to come up to you. In my life, it's been the case where it comes up and say, "Hey, are you willing to do this?" And you go, "You know what? I've always wanted to do something like that." So, if you truly want to do something to give back to society, that opportunity will present itself. I mean, there's a lot of opportunity. Like I said earlier, there's a great need.
And that's why he's sitting right here as a recipient of 2020 Salute to Champions, man. Asa, thank you so much, man.
Thank you.
Just for bringing us some knowledge, man. This was very, 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 very
Thank you for
special.
having me again.